prayer, son.
Uh, Abba Yahuwah and Yahushua Shem, we thank you. We thank you for the opportunity of life. We thank you for the opportunity to share all the things that you have given us to do, as you have had it inscribed in Ephesians chapter 2, that you have prepared these things beforehand that we should walk in them. So we thank you for the opportunity to share about the things that you have commissioned. Um, and I pray that you would allow this interview to esteem your name and esteem the name of your only begotten Son, and that we would just be in shalom and let it flow and share the truth. Yahushua Hashem, we pray. Hallelujah. Amen.
Hallelujah. Okay. Shalom, Mishpachah. We want to begin our discussion today by giving all praise, honor, reverence, esteem to our Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, by way of His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. I am Obadiah Yisrael of Y Us Ministries out of Louisville, Kentucky. I'm with my brother Dennis Yahoo Kasad Delamar out of Victorville, California. He is the founder and CEO of Zayan Studios. Now, okay, family, I want to just start by saying today we're going to go in a different direction than the traditional highlighted ministry of the month that we have highlighted in the past. Zayan Studios is a film production and distribution company wholly inspired to bring forth stories that inspire believers, that challenge believers, and that impact all that have eyes to see and ears to hear that the living word of the Bible, the living word of our Creator, is real. Through film, animation, and documentaries, Zayan Studios depicts real people going through real life challenges with artistic representation, and it exemplifies how our belief in the Most High Yah and His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, is the pathway to peace and salvation. We are talking about a set apart film company. When I think about what it
Yeah.
is that's going to be presented today, we have all of the bases covered. We are anointed in so many different areas of life. And I really look forward to sharing the brother's testimony today. I'm here again with my brother Dennis Yahoo Kasad Delamar, and we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it, my brother. Zayan Studios, how and where did it all begin?
First of all, praise Yahuwah, praise Yahushua, man. I appreciate you, Obadiah, for allowing me to have this opportunity to always share. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your platform, what you do for inspiring brothers and everything like that. So I appreciate that. And yeah, so it began, man. I really would say, Yahuwah had always, like, from like when I can remember, you know what I'm saying, like being a little boy, like watching wrestling and WWE, playing characters and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always kind of like, you know, acting and doing different things like that. And I think it really didn't dawn on me because I played college football. I played college, I was trying to do the NFL thing, CFL thing, and then my senior year, um, kind of I went on a mission trip, and I came back from that trip, and then Yahuwah just pretty much I mean, I was in a Christian space, but he took the desire for football out of my heart. I just it really literally just woke up one morning and was like, and I had a prime lane to just really just shine. Like I had been behind somebody the whole time throughout my years. They was gone. Position was all mine. All I got to do is just, my body was right. And then he takes the love out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I prayed and was like, man, if this is you calling me away from football, I need to know. I need to know, that this is real, like. And so I went to the cafeteria. We went to the cafeteria. It was two of my friends because it was an interesting thing because they were feeling the same type of way too, all of a sudden. And you know, I seen this lady in the cafeteria, and she, I don't know, I was just inspired to say, man, we should talk to this lady, man. Like I don't even know the lady. She worked at the cafeteria, whatever. I was like, yeah, let me just go sit over here. So I sat over there, and we started chopping it up with her. And then it was like literally like Yahuwah opened her mouth to start prophesying. Started
Wow.
prophesying. It was the first time. I'm from, I grew up Baptist church. I grew up in the South Belt, Bible Belt, but it was the first time I think I seen uh what I felt that, Yahuwah saw me. You know what I'm saying? Like he saw me I already know what you I already got this squared out. You know what I'm saying? Like football ain't the thing. I got something for you to do, and it was a wrap after that. It was just like very cut and dry, and it was just like it was awe inspiring. And then after that, I really didn't. That was kind of all the information I had. It wasn't like I was going, oh, you're going to be a director, this or that. It wasn't really that. It was more so like the direction you going is not what I have for you. I got something else for you, great for you to do.
Wow.
So I didn't figure that out till later. After I wasn't doing football no more, and I went to the stage play. I went to the stage play, um, and it was the first time I think I had really experienced acting on that level, just the raw emotion of it and everything. And I was like, yo, this is fire, man. Like, I feel like this is kind of like something that's like close to home. And so that summer, I was graduating in December. So that summer, I had to take some more classes to kind of graduate that winter because just the money and everything. So I took a directing class and I took an acting class, and I started just doing that. And my professor, at the time, he pulled me to the side and was like, "Man, hey, man, you got a gift, man." And I was like, "Really?" You know what I'm saying? I was like, "You think?" Because I was just doing what I was doing, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you need to, what do you think about doing some stuff?" And you know what I'm saying? So I had applied for like New York Film Academy. And so I applied there. I didn't have like no reel or nothing, but I just have like samples of like I guess like writing or something like that. But they accepted me, and I think that was a big
Wow.
confidence booster, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up flying to New York and stuff like that. I didn't end up going to film school. It was like a master film uh, uh, to get your master's in like filmmaking or whatever. But it was just like it was very expensive. And so when I came back home, North Carolina, I was kind of like distraught. But and that's kind of like really, I think, yeah, that was 2008. I graduated 2008, 2009 when I really came to learn about Yahusha and like all that. Like I had came back and I really didn't know what to do because I'm like, okay, you saying I got something, you supposed to got something to do, and I saying I'm here, I'm back at the small town, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm gonna do. And and that's kind of when he started dealing with me about um I got to the point where I was just like, man, uh I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on in my life. So I don't know. I thought everything was moving, and then it just hit this break pad. And I remember this prayer I prayed. I said, man, I said, you know what? I wanna I wanna meet, I wanna know the God of Abraham. You know what I'm saying? I said that I'm a Christian. And I pray, I say, I want to know the God of Abraham. I want to walk like the disciples walk. Like I've been looking at this book. I don't know what's like, I was questioning everything. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I said, I gotta, whatever I've been on, it ain't what it is. Cause you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm not on I feel like I'm stuck. You know what I'm saying? So that's when he really started, just really just opening the floodgates to just truth. You know what I'm saying? I came to learn about the Sabbath. That's one of the first things, which was a very interesting way he did that because I had I had it was this thing where okay, so I started learning how to write because he was teaching me. He was like, look, I'm gonna teach you filmmaking and how to write and everything. I'm gonna teach you everything. You know what I'm saying? Like just chill. And my family, they was pressuring me to work because I got my degree, I got my business degree,
Mm.
and they just like, yo, you got to do something, bro. Like you can't come here just chilling. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to really just figure this out. You know what I'm saying? And figure, film out and everything. So remember I was at the computer, my grandma, this is 2008, internet just kind of getting popping a little bit. I mean, it's kind of slow, but I remember I heard the Ruach say um Constantine. So I was writing this film. It's actually a feature film. I haven't produced it yet, but I was writing this film. It's one of my first scripts. And but I was like Constantine, like I heard about it in school, whatever. I was like in my mind, I was like, well, what about him? You know what I'm saying? And then it was like I felt like who was like, well, look him up. You know what I'm saying? So I looked him up, and one of the first things I came to was March 7th, 321 AD. Constantine makes the first civil law to change the Sabbath to Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I was like, what? So that had me tripping.
One of the
Like
first things you saw
that's
when you
one of the
looked.
first things I saw. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like it came like popped up on the thing because I remember like it's in my mind, and I was like, so then uh I was so that had me tripping. I was like, he trying to change because it was reminding me of a character. It was like how he did it. I was writing this, it's this character in the film where he be changing. I was already on writing about the character, but then when I seen this Constantine thing, I was like, dang, he sounded like the character in my a little bit in the movie. So so that was going on. I was like, man, this is wild, man. Like it had my wheels spinning. But then I really felt like Yahuwah was like guiding me because I was remember my grandma had this old TV and I used to watch 700 Club. And I was in the kitchen one day. Guess who on the program? Guess who they
Oh,
talking about on the program?
who they?
Constantine.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I'm bugging out. I'm like, yo, this is getting wild, bro. Like, what is happening? You know what I'm saying? So that kind of really just started the journey to like, okay, in my mind, I was like, well, if they got this wrong, then what else is going on? You know what I'm saying? So I was, that really kind of started it. And then fast forward, I think fast forward to 2011. That's when I did my first film. I was in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. I was working at Walgreens, and I was kind of like, it was building because that was like 3 years, I think, from yeah. So 3 years, I was writing about film, but I didn't have no camera. I didn't have no access to no camera, none of that. And when I was in North Carolina, I was working there, and I was like, man, how am I make a film, man? I don't know nobody. I'm nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then Yahuwah just really inspired me to have faith and was like, man, this ain't like you just push a button, man. You got to have faith, man. Like, so I just said, I remember working at the cash register, man. I was like, man, I'm gonna make this movie, bro. I'm gonna make this movie. Man, I'm gonna make this movie. And I was just like, just going there, like I committed to make it. And then all of a sudden, Yahuwah just started bringing pieces. He started bringing people, and
Mm.
uh, and then I had my little income. You know what I'm saying? I was making there, and so I ended up calling. They had a directory of like cinematographers, and I called one of them. His name was Tom Priestley Jr. He was like the DP on like Barbershop 1 and 2. He did
So
like
where did
Thomas
you get
Crown
that?
Affair above.
Where did you see
Huh?
the?
It, it
Where did
was
you?
like they had like an online directory with like cinematographers and stuff.
Okay.
In Wilmington, North Carolina. So I just called. I was looking at their resume and I was like, called them. You know what I'm saying? I just called them like randomly, like just called them. And I didn't have no kind of like, you know, I mean, I was professional, but I'm young, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm just see what's up. You know what I'm saying? I called him and told him, because he decorated. I think he was kind of like semi-retired, like from Hollywood and everything. And I was like, man, I got this script about this and that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, huh? He was like, all right, well, let's chop it up over lunch. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all
Okay.
right, so we chopped it up, and he liked the script. I was like, man, I can't pay you what you get paid out. You know what I'm saying? Industry, but I'm willing to like learn. Learn like I want to learn everything. He's like, man, let's do it. So we shot my first film, Undeserving Grace, in like 2 days about a
What was the
woman
name?
that's
What's the name of the
uh,
first film, Aki?
undeserving grace.
Undeserving Grace.
Yeah, and it's about a woman, um, in a domestic violence relationship that's trying to leave, but she, just the psychology of it, she's stuck in a cycle, and but yeah, that was the first film, and then from there, man, it was just like, so on and so forth, man, just gaining more momentum, learning, life happening, and just for me, it's just like, film is a way to express the truth, but also to like it's therapy, you know what I'm saying? Because part of my testimony is like, I was like physically and mentally abused by my father from seventh grade to like 12th grade. So
Wow.
in that time, one of the things was, you know, nobody was really like, that knew was like really voicing out or like stopping them or like, what I'm saying, like speaking up type of situation. And if they did, they really didn't have no power, they had no power to go to nobody or, what I'm saying, like whatever. So I remember Yahuwah really just showing like, film is like a full circle moment for me because I get to now use the camera to speak up for those being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Like those being oppressed by these systems. I like Isaiah, I think it's 117, it says correct the oppressor, plead for the widow and the fatherless, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what the what we're doing through film is speaking up for the oppressed, coming against the oppressor, what I'm saying, whoever that might be, in the different spaces. And that's kind of what it's becoming, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to this timeline of supernatural events that got you from point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? It's that testimony of having the opportunity to, make a transition into potential worldly fame through the route of athleticism is something that a lot of us, have dreams of, because that's really what, that's what they package up to our community and say, if you want to make it out of your situation, this is one avenue that's potentially viable. And, to hear the testimony of being able to accept the unction from the Most High to say, nah, this ain't it. You know what I mean? And then the chain of events, the one thing that you mentioned that I wanted to see if you could elaborate on some is the lady in the cafeteria. So you mentioned that she prophesied over you. Like in what manner? What did she say to inspire you to begin to really lock in on going in the direction of film production?
Yeah, because one of the clearest things was, like, because when I said that prayer, nobody, I didn't pray with nobody. Nobody knew I prayed about, and my particular prayer to Yahuwah was, I need to hear from you verbally that this is what it is. Like I need to like not just, oh, I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? So one of the prophecies was like, nah, that's what where you going, what you thinking, that direction, that's not what I got for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I got something else prepared for you. And I can say this on here, and even, Yahuwah really just laid it out, was like, hey, I'm calling you, these two individuals are supposed to rock with you, but they're not going to, you know,
Wow.
not going to,
They ain't gonna go all the
you know,
way.
yeah, they ain't gonna make all the way. You got to keep going. I got some things. It's gonna be some challenges, but you got to carry this vision to the beginning. I mean, to the end. And just some other things, some things that people would you know try to stand in the way. You know what I'm saying? Because it was interesting because part of the prophecy was like, okay, I got something for you to do. All right, like that's what it is. This is what's gonna happen. They gonna go. They separate this and whatever. Also, this is the challenges, and people gonna tell you to turn around. You know what I'm saying? And it was very interesting because that prophecy, part of the prophecy was like, don't be listening to people that be talking about, certain books and certain, other things, right? So I didn't really, I was like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, so what happened? Because after that we had spring camp was starting. So like spring football camp was starting. So it was like the first day back. I think it was, I don't know if it was a Monday, but it was the first day. And we had like the team meeting where it's like, okay, everybody being wherever from that period, we coming back. We about to start spring football, all that stuff. And I told the coach, because I had the meeting first, because literally this was before the meeting. So I'm still, linked into the football thing. So I'm like, I tell the coach, and he started talking about this book and was like this like
Wow.
what the prophecy was, you know what I'm saying? Like start talking about this book and start talking about like, yeah, man, this and that, like, and start going on and on, trying to like basically because it was wild during the meeting. I was really having a hard time because I didn't tell him yet, but I was having a hard time in like on what I just heard. Like I know I just heard Yahuwah speak through this woman, but I'm having a hard time because it was like warfare. Like I'm
Yeah.
getting a different message with when I'm in the room, and then I tell them, and then I was really praying during the meeting to like help me because I really felt like I was like, man, it's like what you know, but it's like I can't really explain it. It's like confusion trying to come in your mind, and you trying to like really just shield your mind and like focus. And but I told him, and then he was saying all this other stuff, and then and then he didn't really believe me. He didn't really believe I was serious. And then
Okay.
I had to come back again and was like, man, look, man, I'm I'm quitting because it was me. It was me. Now here, this how big it was because it was me and my friend Eli. He was going to be the starting quarterback, so I was going to be the starting free safety. So it was a big issue. And I remember we had to go to the athletic department and talk to the like athletic director. And we told him the story. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, we was praying, we got this prophecy. I'm supposed to walk with football, this and that. And he wasn't, I mean, it's a Christian school too. Now this is wild because he wasn't having it, man. He was like,
Wow.
oh, God don't speak like that, man. He don't speak to people like that, man. That's like old school, you know, this and that. I was like, what? Like, how you gonna tell us what we just heard? You know what I'm saying? Like,
So
and
how
he
does
was
God
like,
speak to people? That's the question. If they don't speak to him like that, go ahead, Haki. My bad. I'm just
yeah, it was
I'm in the
crazy. It was
moment right
crazy
now.
because it was like everybody was convincing us, and it was a different level for me because it was like it was the first time like I'm cool on the football team. I'm not super popular, but I'm like I'm cool, and but I saw like the shift of like yesterday you had your friends, and then like just like that, it's like the whole world changed, and it's like people don't even know you, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, and so I was like trying to figure out was this person gonna be cool with me? You know what I'm saying? Like it was that type of thing, and then it had got to the point where I don't even know how it got to that point where the local news wanted to cover the story. It was like from the field to the soul. I wish I could find this clip, man. I could never find it on. It was like Charleston News, but they did like a story on it, and that was it. And then it eventually blew over. You know what I'm saying? It blew over, but it kind of like segmented my relationship with like a lot of the athletes and stuff because it was just like, how you gonna quit? And you know what I'm saying? Kind of looked a certain type of way, but I still got some folks that I do know from there, and they kind of like been following the journey and kind of like, okay, like okay, you know what I'm saying? Like they can see a little bit of it, but it was definitely a tough moment time, you know what I'm saying? Going through that
Man,
space.
it seems somewhat hypocritical, right? To be at a Christian school and to express that you had a revelation through prayer and then
Mm-hmm.
had everybody, or not everybody, but a significant, amount or number of people come against you because of the revelation that you had. So, between you making the decision to no longer play football, and also, some years later, coming to an understanding that, the belief that you had taken on, it had its error, and you were beginning to come into a greater, more in-depth understanding of the Most High and His character. How is your family, how are they dealing with these extreme changes and what they may have seen as what your future looked like? Because, when we're dealing with our parents and our grandparents and, those that have seen
Yeah.
us since snot nose, they get it in their mind. He going to business school, he's an athlete, and he's going to be ABC, and he's in the church. And then, you do a complete basic 180 to a lot of those, what they may term as values, but really traditions. Like, how is that all playing out for you from leaving the football to coming into the awakening with your family?
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was definitely a tough because I think that '09, because I graduated in December and then I could then '09 start, and that's when I really came into Yahusha, man. But it was like, yeah, they wasn't really having it, man. Because my family, I love my grandma, I love my family, but they um you know like you said, have a certain view of you, have a certain vision. So I was just figuring different things. I stopped going to church. Yahuwah was giving me these dreams where just wild stuff was happening in the church, and and I would try to share with I shared one with my grandma, and she wasn't having it. She was a mother in the church. She a mother in the church, and
Yeah.
that kind of side of the family is like bishops and stuff, and they were calling people, on the phone to come talk to me, man. Like, hey, what you talking about, man? Like, especially when I, was saying, Yahuwah and stuff, and what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Ruach. They was like, what is a Ruach? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was bad, man. It was definitely bad. But I remember there was a particular individual in my family. We had I ain't gonna say too much about it, but it was a situation where um, she really didn't see it. You went to school. You're supposed to come out a certain way, do certain things. But it was very interesting how Yahuwah did this thing because I remember she called me one day and she said she had a dream, and she said she had a dream and she was either watching a movie or something, and then she said she saw my name come up on the credits.
Wow.
Um, and at the time, I don't even think I didn't even have a movie. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I didn't even have a movie, and then it came full circle when I screened Black Wall Street, American Nightmare in North Carolina, and they were able to, my grandmother was able to, my mom, and some family members were able to be in a movie theater, and they eating food, ordering and stuff, and you know what I'm saying, and movie coming on, and they just sitting there, just like, wow, like, okay, you was talking about something true, you know what I'm saying? So that was definitely a full circle moment, you know.
Praise y'all, man, that you
Praise God.
toughed it
Praise God.
out,
Yeah.
because the pressure burst pipes, man, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
and the Most High will put us in these varying circumstances to see what is the priority of our love. As you were speaking, I was thinking of a scripture, Matthew 19 and 29. I'm just bring it out real quick. It says, and everyone that hath forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive an hundredfold and shall inherit everlasting life. And
Yeah, that
I
part.
know for me in the awakening, it's not so much thinking, well, if I do this, I'm going to get this big prize. It's just realizing, yo, the Most High is real, and he
Yeah.
commands us to move a certain way, and because of that, this is why I have to fall in line, regardless of who thinks what. You know what I'm saying? So, just hearing his testimony, and I know we only have a brief amount of time, but it sounds to me like you got a biopic, man. Have you started it yet? The auto the
Nah, nah, I
I
ain't start
don't know
that.
what to call it. Is that what you call it? Is it a biopic? Is that what you call it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Y'all willing my maybe my sons can take that up. You know what I'm saying? My
Okay.
sons can, you know what I'm saying,
Okay.
get them going, you know, y'all willing. So
Well, praise Yah, praise Yahuwah, man. So I know, we've discussed some very in-depth things, man, and I really appreciate you being transparent and being comfortable with sharing your genuine testimony, because I think that it really lends to people really being able to truly understand your journey. And you talked about some very in-depth things that happened, with your father and you know what I mean, your household and your friends and peers at school. And I don't know if this next question is going to be exactly consistent with what you've already expressed. So I do want to
mm,
ask it anyway. So, what do you think have been some of your greatest challenges in both life and in the ministry of Zayan Studios?
yeah, I think it's been the similar thing is um just endurance. You know, I think that's always a challenge in endurance, you know what I'm saying? Because it says it's there on the paper, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it gets tough, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta go back to the why. You got to go back to the foundational word that Yahuwah is given to get recalibrated again. You know what I'm saying? Back to okay, why are we doing this again? You know what I'm saying? And go back to it every time. It don't matter. And what I learned is it don't matter how many times you got to go back to the word that Yahuwah is giving you. You know what I'm saying? Continue to go and continue to build off of that, man, because it's and that's what literally, that day in that cafeteria, you know, even through all the different things that, revelation that Yahuwah is given, that word, I held to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he got something. You know what I'm saying? When it got tough and it's like, nah, I'm about to try something else. You know what I'm saying? I'm, about to do something else. And Yahuwah's like, hey man, now he bring it back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the endurance, you know what I'm saying? I think
Man,
challenge.
that's deep, brother. The why, because
Yeah,
you heard a word, and while and the things that, because I like to do music personally. I mean, I actually just finished recording some music recently. But
yeah,
as much as you want people to have the opportunity to view your art and to be influenced by it by way of the Ruach, of course, you know, it only takes one person, bro. One
yeah,
person looks at what you put out, and because of that experience, they draw closer to the Most High. That's
yeah,
priceless. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So, I say continue. I know I ain't got to tell you, ain't got to hear it from me, man. Just continue putting
yeah,
one
yeah,
foot in front of the other, man. Just me taking a look at your platform and seeing that, you know, it's a gift that you're giving to people. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And y'all willing, you know, whoever has the opportunity to see this will have the opportunity to not only see what it is that the Most High is doing through you, but also take some time to support the vision. You know what I mean? Um,
Oh, yeah.
so, if you had anything that you would tell your younger self to help you along in your personal journey, what would that be?
I would say patience. You know what I'm saying? Patience is yeah, I think that's the biggest one of the fruits of the spirit, grow that patience, you know what I'm saying? Because like it's like even the amount of time it took him to for Yahuwah to bring me here, still the time the most times I got in trouble was trying to speed it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like trying to speed life, trying to, you know, seeing things wrong, the ambition, you know what I'm saying, the loving certain things of the world. So it's like the patience to really like allow your story to like, marinate, you know what I'm saying, and develop and don't be rushed by, the cares of this world or, your own thoughts, you know what I'm saying? But to really um just really enjoy this moment, live in this moment, be thankful for all the and grateful for all the things that you have right now that you have access to, then worrying about the next thing. You know what I'm saying? Worrying about what could be or what if this or you know what I'm saying? Like so that's I think that keeps people worrying, keeps people going in circles. And now as I get older, I see like it's about access. You know what I'm saying? Who are giving you access to everything you need right now. It's depending on what you do with it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be faithful
yeah, man.
with what you got, or you know what I'm saying, or you're gonna just keep praying to for everything you don't have. You know what I'm saying? So
That's tough, man. The discernment to, what's the scripture say? It talks about in one of Paul's letters, you know, I know how, um, he basically says, I know how to abound, but I know how to be
yeah,
content, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
to maintain your ambition, but for it to be Yah's will and not self-will.
exactly.
It's a difficult line to find sometimes, man. But I definitely hear you, on that patience part. I know part of your testimony, and I'm trying to think about where I was reading this maybe on one of your websites, and we'll elaborate later on when we're off camera on, how to exactly present what it is that you have to the
Yeah.
internet world. But you mentioned like starting out with a phone, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
having like camera equipment. Like, can you take us through that, what I mean, journey a little bit
Yeah,
of how the Most High really put things into play for you to have everything that you need in order to actually bring forth these productions?
yeah, yeah. Because it was I was just moved to California. I was and literally how Yahuwah did that was amazing because I was just like, man, I don't really want to be in LA. I really want to be by the beach. He opened up this Airbnb that was like literally 200 feet. I could look out the window and just see the ocean coming up. They had just opened it. I was like, man, praise Yahuwah, so I can go out every morning. It was just like Yahuwah set it up, and I remember, but also with these blessings come responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Because I was it was like a Friday, and I was already coming late for the Shabbat. That was already a situation right there. But coming back, I got in the house, my phone gone. Came in my pocket. I come back. I mean, probably within like 2 minutes, somebody ran over my phone. It's
Oh
falling in my
man.
pocket, and I seen it right there, and I literally came out. I didn't even see the car that ran over it. It was just like come in and tap my pockets. I come back out. I'm like, man, what's the odds? Man, this is crazy. So it was already kind of like had me tripping, man, because I'm like, dang, and it wasn't even like I could save the phone or like it was done. It was toast, and I didn't have like no income like that coming in, so I had to really suffer. No phone, you know what I'm saying, for a minute, and that's when Yehovah was really showing me because he was telling me before like certain people would come to me and be like, man, yeah, man, you should do something, man, you should make stuff on your phone, and I was already rejected. I was already rejected because I'm like, man, like, nah, I need this. I already have my eyes on what I wanted to get. I was like, nah, I need this thing right here. I was like, I ain't making it on no phone. Like, I'm a filmmaker, bro. I came out here to make films. You know what I'm saying? Like, not no content on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, who would check me like, nah, bro. Like, nah, you utilize what I give you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about what you think you need. It's like what you got. You know what I'm saying? So I took it to heart, and then I started using it to the point where Yahuwah started baruching it, to where people would ask me like, "Hey, what you make that on?" You know what I'm saying? Like, ask me, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you make it on? And I was like, my phone. And I was like, and then Yahuwah was like, see, like that's not even a thing. You know what I'm saying? Then he blessed it to where once I was like faithful in that, and Yahushua Shem, he blessed it to where uh it like a sister told me about this brother to connect with him. So I connected with him. He had this foundation. He was like, man, yeah, I'm doing this project, and I took a look at your work and everything. He was like, man, like let's do a collaboration. And he was like, and he asked me, he was like, well, what do you want? And I was like, shoot, like, I mean, really, I need equipment. You know what I'm saying? I need equipment. Like, I need equipment. And then he was just like, well, pretty much. I mean, it was almost a thing of like name your number type of thing, like, you know, and I was able to get over, pretty much all my equipment, you know what I'm saying? Cameras, lenses, lights, tripod, all those different things. And was able to, execute that project. But it was definitely, that verse where he said, be faithful, you should say, be faithful in a few things, you know what I'm saying? Make you rule over much, man. That's just facts, man. And it took a while, but it's one of those lessons that you could continually have to think about, even as you grow. I think it's like even as you grow, it's still a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Because you always given a few things that you got to manage. You know what I'm saying? And be faithful with it. You know what I'm saying? So
Kane, man. Beautiful, beautiful testimony, Aki. I only got a couple of questions left, unless the Most High says something different. But if you could give some advice to anybody looking to get into this set apart, righteous film production space, what would you share?
yeah, I would say like what's your what's your story and what's really going on in your real life, because for a long time in film, I was just trying to, people trying to make films, you're trying to make what's appeasing to people, you're trying to make what you think people like. And I remember, I'll give you a prime example because one of my movies, you know, sort of like a plug, but I got my first feature film is coming out the late summer, fall, House Between Worlds. And I remember one of my friends, she actually did some cinematography on it. And I remember we was having a conversation, and she, I always share some of my work. She came to some screenings and stuff. And I remember I would talk to her about my father and the whole situation there. And I remember she told me one time, she said, yeah, you know what? I really like your work, but the stuff that you really be talking about, like you really don't really be like I don't really see the stuff about fatherhood. I don't really see that, like really reflected. And it had me thinking like, dang, like, you know, I really want to create what's close to my heart in a sense of what I'm going through in real time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Versus like, man, I'm making this thing, you know what I'm saying? Cause I try to do that early on, and then, you just gotta, it's like riding a trend, you know what I'm saying? Like riding a trend, versus like, nah, I need to really make where I'm at, like stuff. So that's why I would tell a filmmaker is to find out where you are in real life and be willing to and transparent to be able to share that, even if it's could seem, you know, lowly or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But those are the stories that are the classics. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
When you be transparent and share what you're going through, because that's what Yahuwah really wants us to really showcase. He don't want no act. He want the real. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow, man, that is amazing advice. That is amazing advice, man. Most definitely, man. It has been a great pleasure, having this conversation with you today, man. I really, again, I want to repeat my appreciation for, you really being raw and transparent. People need to hear these things, man. And I know you mentioned your feature film is going to be you say next summer?
no, this summer. So y'all willing? It's gonna be this fall, like in September. We're going to be September. So Greenwood Film Festival. If you got a chance, anybody got a chance there in the Oklahoma area, Midwest area, we're having the Greenwood Film Festival September 10th to the no September 6th to the 10th. I'll be screening. We screen multiple films, but I'll be screening two of my films, which is um, The House Between Worlds. It's my first feature film, and then a documentary called Kidnapping Cartel. So those will be released this fall, and yeah, come
Oh
out and
man,
see what's going on.
Yahuwah. I was going to ask what's next for your ministry, but it sounds like, we already, what I mean, took it there. Is there anything else that you want to share with the people before we close out?
Nah, man, just get involved. If you led to, man, and come out there and see it and experience the films, because it's like, I one of the things that I experience as a filmmaker is sometimes content moves so fast that sometimes people don't appreciate just what you have right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I make a film, they're like, when the next film? It's like, bro, we're about to do a tour with this joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't even thinking of, you know what I'm saying? So come out and just enjoy the process of being able to have those conversations, be in the theater and enjoy film and really and be able to be inspired, you know what I'm saying, in your life and your calling, and what Yahuwah has for your life. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
that's it.
that's what's up, man. Well, in closing, man, again, thank you for your time today, brother. We want to just thank the Most High for giving us the opportunity to really, be present with each other. Where two or three are gathered, and His name, His only begotten Son, is in the midst. And again, I really think that this is an inspirational conversation that we had today. Not only for filmmakers, but for artists in general, man. You really touched on some very, very very specific, detailed things to consider in the journey, man. So, with that being said, we give all praise, honor, and reverence to the Most High Yah by way of His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Thank you again, and I pray that the Most High really continues to guide and protect everything that you put your hand to do, Aki. Shalom, shalom.
Likewise, shalom, shalom.